Here we go, my big ego. Junior Gong. I don't know what I'm thinking about Damian Marley's record. But you should believe, says the turtle. It's just a statue. Well, back to this guy that I caught. I didn't catch the fish. I mean, if you followed the last video I posted, you would know the story about how this fish came to be. You would know the story about how this fish came to be. It looked like he's gaining his strength a little bit more so far. It looked like it has gained the strength a little bit more because at first, it really wouldn't move. It stayed in one spot. It stayed in one spot. That is the turtle. So the fish just kind of like stayed in one spot for some weird reason. I was like, I hope he doesn't die on me. So you see him moving now, right? A lot more energy. Before, I could have just touched the fish and do almost anything to the fish and it would not even react. And my guess was it was traumatized, right? That's what my guess was. But now, it seems to be doing a lot more moving. A whole lot more moving. Which is a good thing, and that kind of gives me hope of it surviving. Because if it doesn't survive, how are we gonna get the babies? I know somebody's like, what's up with you and all this baby talk, man? You must have a lot of kids. No, I only got two. A boy and a girl. Anyhow, yeah, back to this fish, right? Somebody, I think it's a bass, right? Largemouth bass. I had somebody else made a comment on my last video, told me it looks like a perk. I'm not really sure what a perk look like, but I'm sure if it looks like this, I guess a perk and a bass may look alike. So far, the goldfish hasn't been eaten yet. That's what somebody told me. He said if you put this with the goldfish, it was gonna have the goldfish for lunch. But so far, the goldfish has not been eaten, and he's still doing his little thing over there on the side. I really don't want the goldfish to get eaten, honestly. I don't want to gain one to lose one, if that makes any sense. Like, why gain this big old fish to lose that little cutie right there? I mean, I got this little ones, these two little ones swimming around, but they are so small, and then you have this little tree on the side. So with this little tree right there, I think the little ones could kind of like hide, right? Hide from the big ones, just in case this shark-looking thing trying to eat them. It's not a shark, but I just call it a shark-looking thing because that is a predator. And these little guys right here, they're looking like baits, you know? I don't really know if it's a predator yet because I've not really seen him eat anything. I put some food in here earlier. It just stayed in the same position. The food fell to the side of him, to the right and the left of the fish, and the fish did not even bulge. And I thought that was interesting. Like, can you do something instead of just opening your mouth? I know you're called a largemouth bass. I can see how you got your name. I'm over here roasting the fish. Not literally, of course, but it's a roast. You know what a roast is? When somebody makes fun of you. Yeah, so I had to close the top of the tank. Like, I had to put a lid on it just because slowly over there, Mr. Turtle, if you can see him just hanging in the middle. That is one leg, that is the other. Slowly over there. I call him slowly because it is kind of fast, but slowly. I mean, I guess turtles or tortoises, people think they're slow, right? When they move, but this guy, he swims pretty fast. And when he's on land, he moves pretty fast also. So I don't know where they got the idea that turtles were slow. If you want to call something slow, let's just, snails are slow, you know, so snails are slow. But turtles, a tortoise could be slow. But a turtle is not slow. I've seen these guys on land and they move fast. I mean, of course, not dog speed or human speed, but faster than a snail, definitely faster than how many animals can I quote that I would think this turtle is faster than on land? If a bird, right, was just walking on land, right, walking, the turtle is actually faster. You know, I'm not talking about flying. I'm talking about walking. So, what I'm trying to say is, I don't know where people got the idea that turtles are slow animals. Because if you look over there, that is like a little worm hanging on the side of the tank. The reason why I have a worm in the tank is because I know this fish was caught from a lake, and it's probably used to foraging for food for itself. And now it gets to be in a tank where there's not as much space like it did when it was out there in the lake. His meals get brought to him, like the food, you know. He doesn't have to really forage for food if he doesn't want to. But I just gotta put that there because my guy, somebody else, what's his name? He called himself Big Bass on IG. You should check him out. He goes fishing. He's an outdoor guy, right? So that's what he calls himself on Instagram. So he was trying to tell me this fish would pretty much eat almost anything that moves around it, as long as it's small enough to fit in its mouth. I was like, really? It was like, yes. He said it would eat a frog, would eat smaller fishes. He said that my goldfish is gonna be breakfast or lunch at some point, eventually, if I live in the tank long enough. So that was the reason why the worm ended up here, because he said it would eat almost anything that moved. I was like, well, it's raining outside. Let me see if a worm is out there. And I saw one or two, and I put it in there. The tortoise ate one of the worms, and this big monster-looking fish just stood there. Why the turtle ate the food that really was supposed to be for the fish. Anyhow, it's as long as it got eaten. But that one that is hanging over there, I don't want it hanging over there. I'm hoping the fish will either eat it, or the turtle will eat it, or somebody will eat it. Because if I leave it in the tank, it's gonna, I think, decay, and the water may smell funny afterwards. So we don't want that. So if by tomorrow morning and I wake up and it's still there and nobody's eaten it yet, time for it to get out the tank. So yeah, you need to do more. You need to do more. You see all these other guys? They are moving. That's what fishes do. They swim. What are you doing right now? It's like, what is this fish doing? What would I say? How would I classify this? It's just hanging out, just hanging. It's not laying on the bottom. It's not like moving. He's just staying still. I guess you could say he's just floating. I guess. Well, maybe that is just the character of big fish. Maybe that's just the character of a big fish. The smaller ones seem to move a lot more. I've never really had a fish this big in my tank before, ever. Actually, I've ever had a fish this big before. No, I think this may be the biggest I've had. But there was a koi fish I had one time that grew to about the same size. If I had I don't know, maybe that koi fish was actually bigger than this. But the fish, I had it for over 2 years. It was in my tank for over 2 years. The fish got big. When I got it, it was actually smaller than that. But by the time the fish died, it was about this size, if not even bigger. And I decided, the fish was like part of the family to a certain extent. A lot of visitors liked it because it was in the middle of the living room, right? The fish tank. With the fish tank being in the middle of the living room, so everybody who would come to my dad's house, I had this fish tank in my dad's house. I was still living with my parents, not at my current crib, right? I was still living with my parents then. I was much younger. My dad loved the fish tank. He didn't have anything to do with it. All he knew, one day he came home and it's a big old fish tank in his living room, and it was really pretty. And he didn't have to do anything to feed the fish. It was kept up by me, because that was my thing. I did that. He liked it. Everybody appreciated it. So when the fish died, I don't know if we koi fish. I wouldn't put it past the Chinese, if that is racist, tell me. But I'm just saying, like, based on the amount of food I've heard Chinese people eat, right? I shouldn't judge them, but I say I wouldn't put it past the Chinese in the sense of like, when I think about koi, I think about Chinese. You know, a lot of Chinese restaurants, you see koi fish, they have koi ponds. Somebody told me that Chinese actually would eat a dog. Chinese people, some part of Chinese would eat a, maybe not all, of course not all, you know, some, you know, some. When it's kind of like when people say human beings, some from some tribes in Africa are still cannibals, they would eat their fellow humans. And then somebody walk around and say Africans eat human beings. No, we do not eat human beings. I'm African, I'm Nigerian. So for me to say a Chinese person would eat a koi fish, I don't know. It's a fish at the end of the day. I don't know if it has any poison. You know, a lot of times when animals seem to be kept as pets by a certain group, right? A group that does not really keep that animal as pets and actually use them for food will be scorned at, in the sense of like, dude, I can't believe you would eat a dog. And somebody else would be like, I can't believe you would eat a goat. Basically, the person who keeps a goat as a pet will be like, I can't believe you eat a goat. Why the person who keeps a dog as a pet will be like, I can't believe you would eat a dog. Why me, who keep my fish as a pet? This is really a bass, which is a good fish, you know. If I throw this on the grill, trust me, you will bite your fingers thinking it's part of the meal, right? But it's a pet, right? And if somebody comes to me and tell me he ate my bass, I'm like, are you serious? You would eat a fish? Same feeling. So who is to say people who scorn at other people for eating weird animals just because they don't eat it? Dude, it's just a culture. So I don't want to sound like I'm being prejudiced, or I don't want to sound like it's racist, or, you know, you almost not speak your mind in this generation. But I'm just saying, like, I want to know, will Chinese people eat koi fish? The only reason I asked is because a lot of times those animals or koi fish are kept as pets, right? One thing I would tell you though, it was 2 fish that was caught today by the person who gave me this one. Like I said, if you watch the last video that I posted before this one, you will know how this fish came about, right? If you watch that last video, you know how this fish really came about. And I think that shell that keep opening and closing at the bottom of the tank is pretty cool. When I say it's pretty cool, like, the only thing is just the bubbles. The bubbles is pushing it up. I was trying to time it to see if it's doing it every minute. So that way, if I want to count 1 minute, I would just have to watch that happen 60 times. That would be 60 seconds. Every second it goes up. I don't know if that's what's happening. I don't know if it's timed properly to the point where it goes up every second. But, yeah. I'm trying to get the turtle to do a little bit more, but the turtle is just like, it's time to go to bed. He's like hiding. I don't know if he's scared of the fish, because he used to be like the biggest thing in a tank. And now, something else is bigger than it. Something else is bigger than it. So it's kind of like the biggest or the strongest person in school, or the biggest guy would think it was a bully, and then somebody else come and join the program who is a lot bigger, a lot stronger, and a lot stronger. And now that big old bully feels like, oh okay, somebody else is here, and that person could potentially beat me up. So you would think the bully would behave better, but you never know. So the turtle used to be the bully of the tank, but now you have this big bass over here. Big bass over here. Hasn't eaten a thing. I mean, maybe it's eaten something, you know, but its mouth has been open half the time it's been in a tank, you know.